Hello students, this is lecture number 7 in morphology of flowering plants. We have been seeing that flowering plants refers to angiosperms. These flowering plants have got different morphological features. Morphology refers to external appearance of a plant or animal body. In the external appearance, a typical angiosperm will exhibit root, stem, leaf, flower, fruit, inflorescence, like that, including seeds and various parts they are exhibiting. In the previous lectures, I was telling you about roots and we started about stem also. In the root, I told you about general characters of root also. Then we have seen the functions of root, different regions of the root, and then modification of the root also we have seen. Similarly, in the stem of the plant also, we have been dealing about different types of general characters we have seen in the stem. You may recall that stem is an ascending part of the plant body. It will have nodes and internodes like that, and it will be containing buds, growing tips called buds also, axillary bud and terminal bud, like the various parts. Even the stem may bear leaf for photosynthesis, flower for reproduction also. So flower is the reproductive organ for an angiosperm. We have seen about modifications of stem also in the previous class. I told you in the modification there are three major categories we can distinguish here. Stem modification I am going to discuss here. Three major type of stem modifications we could identify among angiosperm. The first one which we have seen in the previous lecture was underground modification of the stem. Underground modification. You may recall in the underground modification there were four types. Is it or not? I was telling you about rhizome as an underground type of modification, where rhizome can be seen in the ginger and turmeric plant also. Second type of underground modification was related to carm, you may be remembering. Carm. The carm will also be an underground storage part which will be spherical in shape and it will store enough or more enormous amount of food material in it. For carm, we have seen the example called colocasia, you may be remembering. Third type of underground modification was regarding the stem tuber, you may recall. Stem tuber. The stem tuber was found in the case of potato, remember, potato. Please remember one point, while sweet potato is studied under root modification, potato, normal potato tuber is studied under stem modification actually. This stem tuber or potato, why it is called a stem even though it is underground in nature, means it has got growing tips called bud, which is the characteristic feature of a stem. And potato has got nodes and internodes also. They have got stem leaves or scale leaf like structure also. So various points are making them to be a stem modification actually. In addition to rhizome, carm and stem tuber, we have seen a fourth type of underground modification also. You may recall that point. What is that? Rhizome, Gingiber officinale, that is the ginger. The biological name of ginger is called Gingiber officinale. You may be recalling this point. This is the genus name, this is the species name. And Curcuma longa, it is called. Curcuma, that is the biological name of turmeric Arshin, we are telling that turmeric is Curcuma longa. Turmeric also exhibit a rhizome part of modification. Carm we have seen in a plant called Colocasia, you may recall, Colocasia. Even commonly we come across a point called as elephant yam, it is called. That yam plant is also coming under carm variety only. So gingiber officinale will be having irregular shape of storage. But Colocasia and elephant yam will be having regular spherical shaped storage actually. For stem tuber, we have to remember the potato. Potato is biologically called as, biological name for potato is Solanum tuberosum, it can be called. Solanum tuberosum. That is the biological name of potato. This potato comes under stem tuber. There is one important 2-mark question related to Solanum tuberosum. Why it is called stem even though it is underground in nature? Usually we think that underground structures are root only. But this will become what is that stem in the nature because they have auxiliary bud, terminal bud and nodes and internodes also. Okay, so rhizome, carm, stem, tuber, like the various points we have seen in the underground stem. I will discuss the 4th point also, I told you in the previous class, in underground stem modification. In today's class, let us go for second type of stem modification in detail. The 4th type of underground modification was bulb. I told you in the previous class. That is bulb, 4th type D. In that underground bulb, we come across onion actually. Onion will be having a condensed stem at the base. From the condensed stem, roots will be arising like this. But still, why it is called as an underground modification, stem modification means from this condensed, otherwise what is that flattened stem base, we will come across scale leaves like this. These scale leaves are arranged over the stem like this, it will become the onion bulb. And here you will come across the green leaves and slender stem also, this is. For onion, the biological name is known as Allium cepa, it is called. Allium cepa is the biological name of onion. So it is the bulb type of what is that modification, stem modification. So rhizome, carm, tuber and bulb. Okay. Let us come to another category of stem modification. The first one was regarding underground modification. Let me tell you about the second type of stem modification also here. The second type is based on aerial modification of the stem, we can say. Aerial modification. Very simple and more important one. Try to listen this modification also. Aerial modification can be found above the soil in angiosperm. Below the soil, if modifications are present, they are called underground modification. Above the soil is called as aerial modification. Remember, for aerial modification, there are 4 examples. Again, we are going to study here. Remember, 4 to 5 examples are there. The first one we can remember here is stem tendrils. They can be called stem tendrils. What are tendrils means? The tendrils will be very thin, coiled part of the stem, we can say. Very thin and coiled part of the stem. That is called as tendril, it can be called. Where do we find this coiled part? Where from they arise means, imagine, this is the stem of a plant means, here it will have nodes and internodes like this. In the nodal region, here we have a bud. a growing tip called axillary bud we are telling. The bud present at the tip of the plant is called apical bud or terminal bud. Whereas the bud present in the corner, otherwise what are the sides of the plant, that is called as axillary bud. They are found in the nodal region actually. From this axillary bud, a thin, slender, coiled structure will arise like this. These coiled structures are called tendrils, we can say. They are called as tendrils, remember. Why do plants produce a tendril? Why the stem should produce tendril means? Generally, these tendrils are produced in the weak stemmed plant only. The plant which could not grow or which could not stand erect by itself need some support actually. To catch over the support and grow further, these tendrils are produced. Remember this point. So tendrils are nothing but thin coiled part of the weak stem, it can be called. They arise from the axillary bud. Remember this point. Where from we are getting this tendril? They arise from the axillary bud actually. Even in the root also we have seen about coiled roots and all, epiphytes and all you have heard. Similarly, here in the stem also we come across tendrils for the sake of support. What is the purpose of stem tendril? Stem tendril is meant for support actually. Okay, where do we find this stem tendril? In which plant we could come across stem tendril means? Stem tendrils are found in a plant called Passiflora, remember. Passiflora is an example for stem tendril. They produce a coiled thin structure which can be used for supporting purpose because this Passiflora has got what are that weak stem. Not only in Passiflora, even in weak stemmed plant like cucumber, pumpkin, watermelon, there also you can come across a stem tendril, remember. So Passiflora, cucumber is also an example for this. Watermelon is an example for this type of condition. Okay, they are all stem tendrils, remember. Let me come to the second type of modification in aerial condition. Aerial means what? Above the soil. So above the soil, how the stem undergoes another type of modification. They are known as stem thorns, we can say. Next to stem tendril, you have to remember about stem thorns also. Remember, these stem thorns, they will be usually found in bushy plant, we can say, or otherwise some of the shrubs like rose plant, bougainvillea, they are all containing stem tendrils actually. Stem thorns. What is the stem thorn means? Here also, the stem will be like this above the soil. It will also have nodes and internodes like this. But here what happens means, from the nodes, otherwise auxiliary part, a sharp thorn-like structure, nail-like structure will be produced from these nodes actually. They are not a thin and coiled structure, but they are sharp structure with what that nail-like outgrowth, sharp structures are produced. Mullu anta antivalla, that mullu, otherwise what is that? This thorn, that is called as thorn actually. This thorn can be found in the case of rose plant. You might have seen in rose plant we come across thorns. They are nothing but modified aerial stem, we can say. It is a stem thorn rose plant. Bougainvillea you might have seen. In bougainvillea they produce violet color flowers, but at the same time in the stem they will also have very hard stem thorns they will be containing. This bougainvillea, violet colored flowers, even rose plant, they are all containing stem thorns. Tendril is different, thorn is different. In a thorn, they are producing sharp structures, sharp parts. There it is coiled part and thin slender part it can be called. Okay. Now why these stem thorns are produced? While tendrils are produced for support, why stem thorns are produced means stem thorns are produced for protection purpose. Remember, these plant, they must be protected from grazing animals like cattle, sheep and other things may come and eat this plant. To avoid that one, to protect themselves, the rose and bougainvillea will produce sharp areas called thorns. Those thorns will be protecting them from animals, grazing animals. So dear students, remember tendrils are meant for support, whereas thorns are meant for what is that? Protection. Remember. That is the second type of aerial stem modification we can recall. There is a third type of aerial stem modification also. The third one, stem tendril, stem thorn, I told you. There can be one more example like phylloclad also. Often in 2 mark question, this phylloclad is asked. I will explain about phylloclad after half a minute. Just to make note of this point. Stem, tendril and thorn, you just write it. Okay. Let me continue. The third type of aerial modification. First type is known as stem tendril, meant for support. Second type is known as stem thorn, meant for protection. Third type of aerial modification is known as phylloclad. We have to remember. Phylloclad. You have to remember this word phylloclad, most important word which can be asked in board exams also. Phyllo refers to leaf. So, if a stem is modified like a leaf-like structure, if the stem is modified into a leaf-like structure, then it will be called phylloclad actually. The stem will be modified into a leaf-like structure. What is the difference between stem and leaf? The stem is a cylindrical part, but a leaf is a broad part. It will be wide part actually. So in some cases, some of the plants, the stem will be modified into broad structures like this. They are not cylindrical stem. They become green in color and they become broad and wide part like this. So here one part will be there, here another part of the stem like that. They may produce even branches also like this. This type of broad leaf like green colored structure, they are called as phylloclad. It will be green in color. Okay, they are green in color, not brown color like a normal stem. They will be flat structures like a leaf. That's why they are called phylloclad. These phylloclads, then what happened to the leaves of this plant means? Sir, when stem is becoming leaf, what happened to the leaf? The leaf will become thorn-like structures like this over the stem here. Leaf will not be broad, it will become thorn-like structures here. You might have seen this type of phylloclad in the plant like cactus. Chapatically it is called. That cactus, it is the best example for this, what is that, phylloclad. Biologically, this cactus plant is called Opuntia, remember, Opuntia. This Opuntia can be, what is that, physiologically called as a xerophyte, we can see here. Xerophyte. What is xerophyte? The plants which live in dry habitat or desert habitat, they are called xerophyte. The plants which live in dry habitat or desert, they are called xerophyte. You might have heard the words like hydrophyte, xerophyte and all. Hydrophytes grow in the water. Xerophytes grow in the dry soil or desert habitat, we can say. In such desert plants, leaf will become thorns. Why leaf is becoming thorn-like structure means in order to avoid transpiration. Transpiration, another word I am recalling here. Transpiration refers to loss of water in the form of water vapor. So plants lose their water in the form of water vapor by transpiration through the leaves. But remember, when cactus live in dry habitat, already water will not be available because in desert no water is available. So available little amount of water should be conserved. It should be saved by the plant body. For saving that or for storing that water, they will avoid transpiration. So transpiration must be avoided. For that purpose, leaves are becoming thorn-like structure. It is leaf is becoming a thorn-like structure. Why? If they are broad leaf and slender, this flat leaf, they will lose more water. To avoid that water loss, they are having this type of phylloclad, we can say. Sir, we are talking about a stem modification. Why we should tell about leaf here means the stem will become, if the leaves are becoming thorn, who will do the function of photosynthesis? Naturally, stem will do the function of photosynthesis. So, in phylloclad, what is the function performed by the stem? The stem is performing photosynthesis. Why? How it can perform photosynthesis? Because it is green in color due to the presence of chloroplast. So, chloroplast are found in the leaves only. But in Opuntia-like plants, even stem can contain chloroplast. They will become green in color. They will undergo photosynthesis. So remember, tendrils are meant for support. Thorns are meant for protection. Whereas phylloclad is meant for photosynthesis. What is the function of phylloclad? It is photosynthesis. So in 2 marks, you can write all these points. Remember, phylloclad means the stem will behave like a leaf. Where do we find this type of phylloclad? In plants growing in dry habitat like xerophyte. In xerophytes, example Opuntia or cactus. In such plant, the stem will become thick, broad, flat, green in color. It will undergo photosynthesis. What happens to the leaf means? Leaf will become thorn-like structure. Leaf become thorn-like structure. So, what is the purpose of leaf here becoming thorn means? In order to avoid transpiration. So, transpiration must be avoided. For avoiding transpiration, leaf is becoming thorn. Then who will do the function of leaf means stem will do the function of leaf. So stem is meant for photosynthesis in such plants. Do you get my point? Tendrils, thorns and phylloclad. Make note. Okay, students, let us go for 4th type of aerial modification. 3 types I told you so far. Let us go for the 4th type. Aerial modification happens above the soil You may recall. Now let me tell you about the fourth type. Fourth type of modification is called as cladode, we can say. Cladode. Phylloclad, cladode. A cladode can be nothing but single internode of a phylloclad, it can be called. Single internode of a phylloclad or single internode performing photosynthesis will be called as cladode, it can be called. Phylloclad will have many nodes and internodes. This is one node. This is what that one node means. Like this they are growing. This is one node and here one node, like that they are present. Between them there is internode. Suppose imagine in some plants like asparagus, even in root modification also I told you about asparagus. Here in the stem of asparagus also we see some modifications called cladode. In the cladode what happens means the stem will be like this with nodes and internodes like this. But what happens, the same stem it will produce many modified single internodal structures like this. They are meant for storage and photosynthesis. So cladode is meant for storage purpose as well as photosynthesis also. This is the function of cladode, remember. So single internode of a phylloclad can be called as a cladode. Example for that is asparagus. In asparagus, the stem will produce many small outgrowth with a single internode only. They don't further become nodes and internode. They are only one internode branch of the stem. Such a branch is meant for two functions. One is called storage, another one is called photosynthesis. So what is this? It is a cladode. Example for that is what? Asparagus. Remember. Let me go to the next aspect here. The fifth modification in the stem, aerial modification of the stem, let me explain. Very simple. One line we have to remember here. The fifth type of modification in aerial system is known as bulbil, it can be called. Remember, bulbs are found in underground stem modification. Bulbil is found in what is that? Aerial stem modification. What is this bulbil means? They are spherical shaped. They are spherical shaped, asexually reproducing structures. Asexually reproducing structures of the angiosperm. In some angiosperms like agave, a plant called agave plant, and in some other angiosperms like Diascorea, we come across a bulbil type of stem modification actually. Remember, in the bulbil type, the stem will be like this with nodes and internode. In the nodal region, axillary bud will develop into a spherical shaped outgrowth like this. When this spherical shaped outgrowth is called as bulbil, remember. What is the function of this bulbil means? Whenever there is unfavorable condition, whenever the condition is not suitable for sexual reproduction, the bulbil will fall down into the soil and they will grow into a new plant actually. Such a modification of stem will be known as asexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, gametes or reproductive cells have to be involved. But here, there are no need for what is that? Gametes. No fertilization. Directly a bud will come out from the stem, that is called bulbil, and when they fall down into the soil, they will germinate into a new plant. Where do we find this type of asexually reproducing structure? They are found in the plants like agave and diascorea also. Do you understand this point? So that is bulbil. How many types of aerial modifications we have seen? The first one is tendril, passiflora, you have to remember. Jasmine flower also, okay, tendril. Second, jasmine plant like that. Second one is, we have come across aerial modification in the form of stem thorns. Stem thorns are found in rose plant and bougainvillea like that. Third one is, we have come across pillow clad. Opuntia cactus is an example for pillow clad. Fourth one was regarding cladode. Asparagus is indicating or it is representing cladode, a single internode of the phylloclad. Even we have come across this one bulbil also. While bulb is coming under underground modification, onion. Diascorea is exhibiting bulbil, it comes under aerial modification. What is the purpose of aerial modification? This aerial bulbil, it is meant for asexual reproduction. So students, remember, there was support by tendril, protection from grazing animals by thorns, photosynthetic in phylloclad, storage and photosynthesis in asparagus. Now I am talking about asexual reproduction. A diascore, this bulbil is able to grow into a new plant without any fertilization and gamete involvement. This is aerial modification. Okay, let us go for third type of modification also here. Okay, third type. In stem, I told you about two modification, underground and aerial. Let me go to the subaerial modification of the stem here. Okay? Subaerial modification. Of course, in your textbook, they did not group them into three categories, but they have simply given examples and one line about the examples. Just for your understanding and remembrance, we can have some detailed grouping, classification of stem modification. So first one was underground modification, second one is aerial modification. Let me tell you about third type. Third type is known as subaerial modification, we can say here. Subaerial modification. In third type also, we come across four categories actually. Four examples are there. What are they? The first one is known as runner, we can say. Runner type of stem modification. From the name itself, you can understand this point. Runner refers to a stem, a plant having the stem like this with leaves and all above the soil. Of course, stem is the ascending part. But what this stem does means, it will produce slender and long branches horizontally moving toward the soil like this. In all the directions, the stem will produce slender branches. So what are runners? They are slender, long branches on all directions. On all directions. Such type of branches are called runners. Remember, whenever the runner is touching the soil in some place, there again it will produce some more small plants like this. This is found in the case of grasses like cyanodon. You might have heard this word also. Cyanodon is a type of grass where we can come across runner type of modification. What is the speciality of runner? They are slender, long branches. Slender means thin branches, long branches like that. What is the another speciality? They will grow on all directions. Not in a particular direction like that, they will grow on all directions. Okay, that is a runner. Second type of subaerial modification can be called as stolon, we can see. Stolon. S-T-O-L-O-N, remember. This stolon is also a type of slender modification only. But what happens means they will slightly arch above the ground. They will slightly arch above the ground actually. They don't run horizontally over the soil. They will produce some arches and continue further. Imagine this point. This is the stem with leaf and other things. Whereas the main stem, it will start from the base and it will produce some arches like this. Then they will grow further. This type of bending, not running horizontally, they will bend, arch and go. That is called stolon type of modification, we can see. Where do we find this stolon type of modification? In plant like oxalis, we can come across stolon. Cyanodon exhibit runner, oxalis exhibit stolon, remember. Third type of subaerial modification is known as offset, we can see. Offsets, very important one. Offsets are generally found in hydrophytes. Hydrophytes means the plants which grow in water. Aquatic plants are called hydrophytes. Xerophytes, just now I told you, in phylloclad. Now I am talking about aquatic plants. In aquatic plants, what happens means single internode will be produced like branches. Single internodal structures will be produced. Just like asparagus I told you, here also single internodal structures are produced on the water for the sake of that spreading or for growth, it can be called. Example for aquatic plant showing offset is Pistia. Remember, an aquatic plant called Pistia and Eichhornia, it is called Eichhornia. These plants, they are exhibiting offsets actually. While runner and stolon are found in the ground or terrestrial system, offset can be found in aquatic system. That make the main difference. What is the purpose of offset? In order to branch further and further. Finally, fourth type of subaerial modification I have to tell you. What is that? Runner, stolon, offset. Fourth one is called as sucker. It can be called suckers. Very important one. Suckers can be found in plants like mint. Mint means pudina. We are telling that pudina like plant. Chrysanthemum, yellow color flowers they produce. This chrysanthemum and mint, they exhibit suckers. What is the speciality of suckers means? They are purely underground, the stem. The stem will be underground in nature. But what happens to this underground stem means it will produce the branch below the soil like this. And suddenly they will come up above the soil and start producing flowers. This type of sudden growing is called as oblique branching, we are telling. That is called oblique branch, not horizontal branch like runner and stolon. They will suddenly produce oblique branch where they will produce the leaves and flowers also again. So this is the underground part of this sucker. So remember, in all these four modifications, they are partly depending on soil and partly depending on air. So they are not completely below the soil, they are not completely above the soil also. That's why they are called subaerial modification. Underground modifications are completely below the soil. Aerial modifications are completely above the soil. Subaerial will be partly below the soil and partly above the soil. They will have main stem here below the ground actually. They will produce arches. Here they will produce what is that? Stolen arches like that. And arch above the ground. Here they will run runner. Stolen will arch above the ground. Offset will be found in what is that? Aquatic plants, hydrophyte. Suckers are found in mint and chrysanthemum. So dear students, we have seen stem modifications completely so far. In the stem modifications, let me tell you here, underground modification, aerial modification and subaerial modification. These 3 points we have to remember. In underground modification, we have seen across rhizome, corm, then tuber and bulb, stem, tuber and bulb, 4 types. In aerial modification, I told you about stem tendril, stem thorn, phyloclad, cladode and bulbil, 5 types. So 3 stem underground modification, 5 aerial modification and 4 subaerial modification. What are the subaerial modification? Runner, stolen, offset and sucker. Runner, example grass. Stolen, example oxalis. Offset, example pistia and eichhornia. Sucker, example mint and chrysanthemum. You may just recall a point. When grasses are eaten by cow or cattle, they may damage some part of the stem here. They may stamp upon it, they may turn that branch. But still grasses will grow again and again. How is it possible? Because they produce runner in all directions. So in all directions, the grass will produce branch. If one branch is damaged by a grazing animal, another branch will be supporting the growth of the plant here. Okay? So this is runner, stolen, offset and suckers. Let me stop with this in today's class. Let us continue with other type of modification like leaf, inflorescence and other things in the remaining classes. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.